of bootcamp, where we will be starting with the bootcamp in Bootstrap, where we will be doing the Bootstrap. And let us start with Bootstrap 5.0. So we'll wait for some time for some more people to join. Then we will start with the session. So today we will be starting with the Bootstrap, and in 4 days we will be taking you through the Bootstrap journey. And all the 4 days have four different attendance forms, which we will be sharing the link in the YouTube live chat. So you are requested to please refer the attendance link in the YouTube live chat, where you will be getting the attendance link, which you need to fill it out to get the for get the eligibility for the participation certificate. So this is the official web page of Bootstrap, from where we will be taking the reference and we will be learning the things from here only. So we will be checking the latest version, which is 5.3.x. One more thing. So okay, so let us go ahead further. Yeah, hi Lakshmi, hi. So let us start with the Bootstrap. What is Bootstrap and what is the need for Bootstrap? So Bootstrap is a front-end framework. Okay, so let us have some theoretical part in the start of the session. Then we will go with the practical session. So here, Bootstrap. Bootstrap is a front-end framework, and it contains some part of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Okay, so Bootstrap is a front-end framework which contains some part of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript framework, and also it is being prepared to make the life of developers easy. So the motive of Bootstrap is to make the life of developers easy. Why? Because it contains some part of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. No, after this thing, there are so many front-end frameworks are available. Okay, but the most commonly or the most popular framework is the Bootstrap. So that is the beauty of Bootstrap, that even if so many frameworks are available, Bootstrap is the most commonly, most popular used available frameworks, which is being used a lot. Now, and one more thing which I want to tell you, that in all of the web pages or in all of the websites, a small portion or a little portion of Bootstrap is being used a lot. I can say also the whole of the web page has been made with the help of Bootstrap. But in order to make the web page responsive or to have some things, it will be used a lot in the web pages. Now, why Bootstrap is used? The answer is, in order to make the web page responsiveness, in order to make the responsiveness of the web page for different devices, for different screen size, the Bootstrap is being used a lot there only. Now after this thing, let us have some history of Bootstrap. Okay, let us discuss some history from where the Bootstrap come into existence. So the original name of the Bootstrap is Twitter Blueprint. Okay, the original name of Bootstrap is Twitter Blueprint, and it was developed by the Twitter engineers. So again, it's a property of Twitter. It was a property of Twitter, but currently it is a open source framework. Okay, now, but later on, what happens? It becomes open source, and it was a very good project. So that is why it becomes open source, and now Bootstrap is not being used by the Twitter. And one more thing, the developers. The name of the developers are Mark Otto and Jacob Thornton, who developed it. So that was the name of the developers who developed it. So how will I certificate? I am taking. I am as I'm taking. अरे भाई सर्टिफिकेट आपको आपके मेल आईडी पे मिल जाएगा संडे तक. So you will get the certificate on your mail IDs, which you will be filling when you fill the form. When you fill the attendance form, you fill your mail IDs, and on that mail IDs we send the certificate. Okay, so that is the whole process, and by Sunday you will get the certificate on your mail ID where what you have entered here. Fine. So now, so Bootstrap, the original name of the Bootstrap is the Twitter blueprint, and it was developed by the Twitter. And nowadays Twitter is not being used using this thing. And one more thing, that the Mark Otto and Jacob Thornton, they developed Bootstrap. Now after this thing, uh, so what Bootstrap contains, what things in it. So Bootstrap is a combination of three things. Okay, so Bootstrap is a combination of three things, and the three things are grid, classes, and components. So again, as I told you, grid is a very important property, and grid is being lost. Yes, I will share the attendance link, okay, in the form of a Google form in this live YouTube chat only. You need to fill it. When you are filling it, it contains some very basic details which you need to enter. When you enter all these things, and one more thing, you need to fill all the 4 days attendance form. The days are Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. So you need to fill all the 4 days attendance form. And in all the 4 day attendance form, when you fill all the 4 day attendance, you then only you will get the certificate. So coming back to the topic, okay. So Bootstrap is a combination of three things: grid system, classes, and components. No, grid. What is a grid? So grid, as you all know, grid is system. Grid is used to make the web page responsive, and it works internally and is managing the entire operations internally. Okay, so grid system is used to make the web page responsive. What Bootstrap make the site responsive is entirely managed by grid system internally. Fine. So that is how this thing will work. Now after this thing, okay. So if you understand Bootstrap, so if you understand Bootstrap, you can make any web page responsive. So that is the beauty of Bootstrap, that if you are able to manage, if you are able to understand the importance of grid system or importance of grid system in the Bootstrap, you can make any web page responsive. So that is the beauty of Bootstrap, because it helps it the need of the Bootstrap is to make the web page responsiveness. So that is why it works like that only. Now after this thing, let us see classes. What are classes? So classes are used to style any element in HTML. Okay, so classes are used to style any element in HTML. So Bootstrap used the most frequently, the most commonly used classes, and such classes, it make a library kind of a thing of such classes. So simple, we need to just mention the class name, and the web page, the website will gets responsive automatically. So that is how this thing will work internally. So classes, it is taking the most commonly used, most frequently used classes, and it prepare library kind of a thing of all those classes. So what we need to mention, we need to mention the class name, and by default the class, it automatically takes the class, and it helps to make the web page responsiveness. So that is how it works like that. Now there are so many classes in Bootstrap library. So so that in development we can save time. So if I simply mention the class name as button, so by default, oh, okay, so I will show you how it works in the docs. Let us have. components. Okay, see. Components and buttons. Okay, see. So if I put this class btn in the HTML, okay, by default I will get a button with this kind of a structure, with this kind of a font, with this kind of the font color, and with this kind of the background color. So by default it will show me. Now if I put the class btn secondary, now what happened? The secondary will be the font content. The secondary, so I want to 1 second. Okay, so here, okay, so here, as you see here, as you see here, if you mention the class btn dash secondary, if you mention the btn dash secondary class, what will happen? A button will create with the content as secondary, with the font color as white, with the background color as green. Similarly, if you put the btn success, what will happen? This btn success, this btn success, what it will happen? It will create a button with the font color as light green, with the content as success, with the name of the content, with the color of the content as white, and the background as dark green. So that is how this thing will work. And by default, it has all these inbuilt buttons. Okay, it has all these inbuilt buttons. So that is how this thing will work like. Now, similarly, if you have, you can have these buttons also. So these are the input buttons. Okay, so now these are outline. So if you give btn outline primary, okay, if you give btn outline primary, what will happen here? A button will get created with this outline, with the background color as white, and the font color will be of this thing. So that is how, with the help of this Bootstrap, the time of the developers. 1 second. The time of the developers will get saved, because they do not have to write so much of CSS. With the help of a single line of a class, with the help of single line of a class, the btn dash outline dash primary, immediately a button will get created with the styles inbuilt. You do not need to do anything. So that is how this thing will work. Now, after this thing, let us see the next thing is called as okay. And one more thing, very important. So Bootstrap have created some components also of HTML and CSS. That is, for example, this is a button. So it is a component of HTML and CSS. Similarly, if you see here, okay. So they have also created some kind of buttons with colors, and simply we need to copy the HTML code, and CSS is already there. Just copy the code and paste it. So that is how you will get ready. So if you just copy and paste it in your HTML, okay, already, but sorry, automatically a button will get created with all these things. So you do not need to do anything. Just simply you need to write HTML, and CSS will automatically get added. So that is why the Bootstrap is being used a lot, and it is the most commonly used framework. Now, after this thing, just above them. Okay, so there are so many other components like buttons. So what are the components? The components are pagination. So the components are, see, pagination. Okay, proverse, accordion. You can see accordion. Okay, alerts, batch. So all these are components. So we will be seeing each and everything here in detail. Now after this thing, from where you need to learn Bootstrap. Okay, so the official web page. Okay, so the official web page is the so the official web page of any language is the best source to learn that language. So we will be referring that particular page only. So you can see here, this is the official web page of Bootstrap. Okay, from where we will be learning or we will be taking the reference of all the things. So this official document is being, I can say, very big, very large, but yes, we can get everything in depth here. So let us go ahead with next topic in the Bootstrap. Okay, so one thing. So even if you have learned, so even if you will learn Bootstrap complete, okay, you can't remember the entire things. So this thing is very common. So if you have learned each and everything, each and every point, each and every topic, you cannot remember each and everything. And so, and so there is no need to do or to by heart all the things. Something will keep something in your mind which you can correlate, and some you need to take the reference from the Bootstrap side. So the taking of the taking the reference from any of the page, what you just go. So if you want to add buttons, so you know, yes, buttons will come under components. So what you do here, you just go to, you find BUTTON. So you find button, you check buttons. Okay. So here are the buttons. So what you do? Okay, so I want a button of this kind. So what you do? You just copy it and paste it on your HTML. So you will get a button. So that is how you will take the reference of all the things. Now after this thing, okay. So first thing to understand what is a bootstrap, and then when you start working on it, you will do a copy paste, and that is called as taking the reference of the things. Okay, so now for you to take the reference, the official web page of Bootstrap is the best source to learn. Okay, and also you cannot get the best notes, best reference of any platform except that. And one more thing, always refer the documentation which came with any language, and that is the best source. Okay, so that is how you can correlate the things from where you can have the best source to learn. Now let us see the flow of Bootstrap, how Bootstrap will flow, how we will be going through this particular, how we will be going through in this particular session. So in this flow of Bootstrap, we will be learning we will be learning in two ways. I can say in two ways. First is zero CSS. Zero CSS means that we will be using a bootstrap. Okay, we will be doing the bootstrap where we use the grid, classes plus components. And second thing is the custom design. What is custom design? Custom design means, if suppose one person came to you and you have already some preset styles, okay, and he wants some kind of a web page which you simply copy paste from the bootstrap page. So that is how this thing will work. Okay, so that is how this thing will work. So if someone came here and he wants four buttons, okay, one, two, three. So what you do, just simply copy it, all the four things, and paste it your four buttons with the styles that get ready. And suppose someone will come here and he want a form. One second, FORM. One second. Okay, he want some. Second. Okay, he wants some form. So what you do, you just copy it and paste it. So your form will get created which have an email address and an email text area. Okay. Now, if you want some buttons, so what you did, you just simply copy the buttons and paste it. So what now, currently what you are doing, you are using a custom design. Okay, so you are using a custom design and that is entirely being managed by the grid system. So what you are doing currently, you are not writing a single line of CSS. And suppose, if it is possible that you need to write 5 to 10 or 10 to 15 or 15 to 20 line of CSS also. Minimum, let's say you need to write, sorry, maximum you need to write 20 line of CSS also. So it is not possible, or so it is, so I can't say, or anyone can't say that you have write a CSS. So even if you are writing very less or 20 minimum 20 lines of CSS, you can't say that you have not written any CSS. So that is how you what you did, you have created the custom design. Now second thing, what is a zero CSS? Zero CSS is basically where you have used the grid classes and components to make the website. So that is how this thing will work here. Now after this thing here, now after this thing Oh, okay. After this thing, now let's start the actual bootstrap. Now let us start the bootstrap. So how? Okay, so we have learned, we have seen the floor. So now, now we can include bootstrap. So let us see the introduction. Okay, so there are two ways in which we can include bootstrap in our project. Okay, so there are two ways in which we can include Bootstrap in our project. So first one is the CDN. Okay, CDN. What is CDN? CDN is nothing but the content delivery network. Okay, so CDN and okay, so CDN is the most preferred way. CDN is the most preferred way. Okay, and it is called as a content delivery network, and it is basically a server. It is basically a server, and it comes from the CDN server, and it is and the beauty of this is that it loads very fast. Okay, it loads very fast compared to the normal servers. It works very fast. Okay, it attached very fast with the website, and because of this, it loads very fast. So that is the beauty of CDN, because CDN is not a normal server, it is somewhat a different kind of server. So that is how the CDN servers are being used here. Now after this thing, the second way is to download and attach. Okay, the second way is to download and attach. So download and attach. So what we are doing, we are downloading this to our system and we are now then attaching. In CDN, we are just simply attaching it. Simple. That task will get ready. Now let us see the first way and the second way practically. Okay. So first we need to go to the official web page of Bootstrap, and there we need to go to the docs here with the docs. And in this docs, we need to go the introduction part, and in this introduction part, you can see the quick start. So already we have created BS5. This BS5. BS5 is Bootstrap 5. Index.html. Okay, 1 second. So in this index.html, what we did, we just simply copy it. Control V. Okay. Control S. Go live. Now, in order to check that it is attached properly or not, so what we do, we will go to the components buttons, copy all, it is attached properly. What I did, nothing. Simply I go on to the official page of bootstrap.com, introduction part. Second thing, include Bootstrap, CSS and JS. I just copy it, go to the VS Code, did index.html, and in order to check it, what I did, I just simply go to the buttons, and in this buttons part, I just copy the code, paste it, and checked it. So this is how I can say it is attached properly. Now, this is the first way. Okay. Now, one more thing I just want to tell you here. Okay. So now, if you see, we have something here. We have something here which is called as the 1 second. Okay. So we have something here which is called as a JS deliver. Okay. So here, if you see, we have the things here which is called as a JS deliver. Now, in this JS deliver, in this JS deliver.net, either I can have single source, either I can have single source, or I can use the above thing. So I can, or either I can use the above thing. So that is how this thing will work. Now here the second part. Okay, now here the second part. Let us see the second part here. That either I can use the separate link for CSS, or I can use the separate link for JS. That is how this thing will work. Now after this thing, one more thing I just want to share you. So let us check out the JS deliver. What is the JS deliver.com? So JS deliver. So what? Okay. So JS Deliver is a free CDN for open source platform. Okay. JS Deliver is a free CDN for open source platform. And what is the VS Code? Sorry, what is a Bootstrap? Bootstrap again is a open source platform. Okay. So Bootstrap uses this free CDN for its open source projects. Okay. So that is how this thing will work here. Fine. So that is all about the JS deliver. Now, okay. So 1 second. Okay. So how to connect it? Okay. So we have two files where one in CSS and where one in CSS where all the CSS is written for Bootstrap, and other one is JavaScript JS file where all the JavaScript is written in Bootstrap. So you can see here both the files in this file where in this file, in this CSS file, where all the CSS is written for the Bootstrap, and in this JS file where all the JavaScript is written. Either you can use the separate file, or you can use the simple common file. So that is how this thing will work. Now, what we need to do, we need to visit to the official webpage of bootstrap.com, and in the quick start template, which contains in this quick start template, okay, in this quick start template, okay, you can use it. Now, after this thing, let us check out the second part. Okay, now let's once again. Okay, now let's check the second method. So for the second method, let me delete it. And what we will be doing here in the second part, in the second part, uh, okay, we need to go to the download. Second one is the download part. So in the download, we download it. And one more thing. So if you want to download separate, one second. 1 second. Okay, so here in this index.html, what we are doing here, we are using the and in the CSS, I use bootstrap dot grid dot min dot CSS, and in the second one, we'll use the link tag bootstrap. In the Java, I should bootstrap dot min dot js. These are the files which we need to link it. Okay, so bootstrap dot css. So bootstrap dot 1 second. This file needs to be corrected. Bootstrap dot min dot css. This is a file, and bootstrap dot min dot js is the file. Now let us see if it is linked or not. So again, what we will be doing, we will go to the buttons part, and in this buttons, copy. Now let me go live. Where is the go live? कौन गया भाई? Open this with like server. Okay. So already we have opened it. So no need to worry here. So see, if you see here, this thing in the now with the second part, with the second mode also, we have linked the files and it is working fine. Now that is how this thing will work like. Now let us see the next thing here, which is again in the official web page of Bootstrap. Now here, what things, how things are moving. So for this to understand, let us go back. Let us go back here in the introduction part. So here, if you see, mm, 1 second, downloads. Okay, yes, 1 minute. Yes. So the CSS file. So here, when we have downloaded the folder, what has happened? So many list of libraries are available. So many. But the most file that contains all the things. Okay, so if you see here, bootstrap.css, it contains layout also, it contains the content also, it contains the components also, and it contains the utilities also. So that is why we have linked bootstrap.css, because it contains the entire thing inside it. Else we need to add all the things. And second thing, what is bootstrap.rtl.css? Bootstrap.rtl is nothing but bootstrap dot right to left. In some countries where people write right to left, they use bootstrap dot rtl.css and they link this kind of file. Now, similarly, we do with JS also, with JavaScript also, where we have added bootstrap.bundle.js. Okay, so that is why it is being required. Now, okay, so by now what we did, we have checked both the ways where we can download and attach it, or we can simply connect it. So this is a bootstrap. Okay, so now, now we will see the responsive web design. Now we will see the responsive web design. Now the main task of the Bootstrap is to make a responsive web design. Now let's try to understand this, how we will be making the responsive web design with the help of a Bootstrap. Either there are different sites. Now currently what is happening here? So one, let us see one thing here. Okay, so what is happening here? Either I can have a different web page. Either I can have a different web page for laptop, for desktop, for tablet, for mobile. 1 second. Okay, either I can have this thing, or what I do, either I can have a simple web page which I can be running, and अरे भाई अनुराग जी, अटेंडेंस आपको मिल जाएगी. When we share the attendance, we tell you, we will inform you कि भाई लोग अटेंडेंस दे दी है, आप भर लो. So don't ask again and again. That's our job. We will do it. Okay. And we will inform you also that attendance link has been shared in the live YouTube chat, that I will tell you. Okay. Once it will send, because it is a system generated process, system will automatically send the attendance link in the live YouTube chat. We also don't know when it will be sending. Okay. So try to understand the concept first. Now, if you see here, there are different kind of devices which is there in front of your screen, and in this different kind of devices, same web page will not run properly. So that is why the responsiveness is required. Because if you see here, if you compare this thing, this laptop, this desktop, or this this tablet design, you can see there are four articles, or I can say four sections, but there are only three sections. Okay, sections are using 33% of the width size, sections are using 25% of the page. Okay, here 100% width is being shared, here 25%, here 33%. So that is how the responsiveness is being used a lot. Now one more thing. Sorry. Okay, so that is why the responsiveness, the need of responsiveness is being used a lot, because there are so many kind of devices being available, and all these devices are of different shapes and different size. So it is not possible for anyone to make so many number of web pages which is which is which is compatible for all. So that is why it is being used in this particular fashion. Now, one more thing here, which is I just want to tell you. One second. Which I just want to tell you here is one second. One second. Okay, so okay, so try to understand this kind of a page. Try to understand this kind of a page. What is this saying? What it want to say? So here, this is a mobile device. This is the laptop device. So this is a tablet view, and this is a desktop view. Now see one more example how it works. See, this is a laptop or desktop view. This is a tablet view. This is a mobile view. This is a smartwatch view. Now smartwatches are also available. Now let us see this thing. So here you can have, now see, try to understand the section and the article. So this section, now this is in a block pattern, this is in a side by side pattern, this is again in a block pattern. So that is how the responsiveness, the need for responsiveness has come, and it is being used a lot. Now, in all these examples, what you, sorry, one more thing, the attendance link has been shared in the live YouTube chat. I request you all to please fill the attendance. The attendance link has been shared in the live YouTube chat. Anurag, you are asking for the attendance, so it is being shared. I request you to please fill. I will wait for a minute for you all to fill. Once you fill it, please confirm me back in the YouTube chat. So once you fill it, please confirm that you have filled it. So have anyone filled? Has anyone filled? If you have filled it, please reply with yes so that I can go ahead. राजी फिल किया आपने? Okay, so here we ends with today's session, and tomorrow we will start with the Bootstrap grid system, where grid system contains the breakpoint, the container, the row, and the column. So you can see here also the grid system कहाँ गया भाई? This grid system we will be learning from tomorrow, where it contains the breakpoint, container, row, and column. So this is a row columns. So this we will be learning from tomorrow. So I hope everyone has filled attendance form. अनुराग जी फिल नहीं किए आपने अभी तक? कंफर्म करिए प्लीज. Okay, so I hope everyone have filled by now. So let's end today's session, and tomorrow see you at the same time. And tomorrow we will start with the Bootstrap grid system, where we will complete the breakpoint, container, row, and column. So see you. Bye bye.